Hey guys, welcome back to the course Spring Boot. This is lecture 6, creating business service. So far we have created a resource named states which is mapped to the get request, and it has a method get all states which is returning a list of the states that we have mentioned in here. So this was our output so far to our web services, which is running on local server, localhost 8080, and this is the list that we are getting back as a response. So in this lecture what we're gonna do, we'll create a business service and we will move this array list which we are creating here to the service, because we want to share this throughout all other resources. So what is gonna happen if we will make a post request, or we're gonna make other resources on this project, so we want to use the single list from the service instead of creating it every time. So let's begin with this. And what a service is, it's nothing but again a class that we're gonna create in our project. So you will be creating a new class within the states, because it's a state service that I'm gonna build. So just name it state service, which will return the list of state, and here we will be creating our list of states. So this is the class that we have created. To mention this class as a service, we have an annotation which is called @service. So this annotation is gonna tell the Spring that this is the service, and what it's gonna do is, first of all we need to just import the annotation from the stereotype.service. What Spring is gonna do is it's gonna see this class as a service, and it's gonna create a instance of this class which will be a singleton pattern. So there will be one instance of this class throughout the project, and you will be using that instance of this state service class in multiple resources that you're gonna build in here, like post or get or put. Different resources we will be building later in this course. So this is our service that we have defined, and what we want in here is a list of state. So let's create a member variable which is gonna be private list of state. Just name it as a states. What I'm doing in here is I'm creating a hard-coded list of states, because we don't have a database connectivity yet, and once we'll have a database we'll pull it from the database, but for now I'm just gonna create a list of state in here. So just create a new objects of class state as we were doing before, and just create a resource. Actually we have already done this, so we can just copy it there, but let's type. It's not a lot of code to write. Georgia, new state Florida, code is FL, and the name is Florida. So likewise you can add as many states as you want. You can grow your list. This is basically your data set that you are creating to return to your services. So this is Alabama, so this is your service that you have built, and what you want in here, instead of getting this list as a return from here, you want to call this list that you have created in a web service. So what you want is, you want to instantiate member variable of your service class. So you want to make private state service just name it. And now you have to do the dependency injection here. So auto wired is the annotation that we're gonna use, because what we are doing is we are creating a instance of a state service class in here, and who's gonna tell this Spring that you have to create an instance of this class is auto wired, which is gonna inject the dependency of state service business service that we have just created. So you need to import the annotation again, and here it's done. So what now you want is you want to map this URI of states which is coming along with the GET request, and you want to execute this method. Instead of creating a local.array list, you want to use the array list that you have already created in your business service. So how you're gonna do is just call it a state service dot, just create a method called get all states, and what we're gonna do is this get all states, we're gonna define it in our business service and return this member variable that we have just created, which is holding the list of all states. So just create a method get all states, and this is gonna be a return type of list of state, and what you're gonna return in here is the list that you have just created, which is states. So we will be returning the list of states that we have just created in here. So let's resolve this by importing the array and a list. So this is all done, and you see what is happening in here. We still have the same controller which is mapping to the states resource. Instead of creating the list locally here, we are calling a service which is state service dot get all states, a method defined in our service class, and this method is returning the states that we have created in here, which is hard coded. So let's test this. Let's run this project, and let's run this again, and let's see, we should get the list of 3 states now. We have just added another state which is Alabama. So our project is running now, the Tomcat has started, and just load this, and you will see the state code Georgia, state name Georgia. Here is our data. So one thing you can notice in here that nowhere I have mentioned to make it as JSON. You see this is proper JSON coming back. So this is the beauty of Spring Framework. What it does is it knows that this is a REST controller through this annotation, so it expects a JSON response probably. So what it does is whatever array is coming, whatever response is going, it is automatically formatting it according to the API standard, and it is making a JSON object to return. So that's it, guys. In the next lecture we will see how we can design our API and what all we can do and what all resources we're gonna build in this project. So see you guys.